Hello makers and welcome back to Making with Miss Dobras. Today we're going to learn how to make pipe cleaner people, and they have moving joints and they move just like our own arms and legs move, and all you need is pipe cleaners, beads, and scissors. And if you don't want to make a pipe cleaner person, you can also explore these materials by just making cool designs with pipe cleaners and straws and beads. We're going to continue on with design challenges with a focus on movement. Today we're going to be working with some pipe cleaners, some beads, and some straws to make pipe cleaner people with moving arms and legs. And so one thing about makers is we're really good at observing. And so to make this into a person that moves, we have to understand how our bodies move. And so I want you to move your arm like this right here. And you see how your arm moves right here at the joint, at the elbow. It also moves at the wrist. It also moves at the shoulder. This is important for this project. We have to know where our body bends because we're going to try to recreate those movements with some pipe cleaners. So let's get started. These are the materials that you need for this project. So you need some pipe cleaners, which are fuzzy with little wires in them. And you need some straws. They can be any color. They can be clear, any color. And you also need some beads. Now these are crafting beads. This is just an old necklace that I'm going to take apart and take some beads out of. You might have an old necklace or something that you might be willing to cut apart to get some beads out of. Always ask your parents first. But this is a good way to repurpose some beads from jewelry that maybe you're not using anymore. If you don't have any beads, then we just need something that has a hole in it because we need to put these pipe cleaners through the bead. And then you're going to need some scissors to cut up the straws. So I don't know if all of you have pipe cleaners at home. And so I am a little worried that some of you might not be able to do this project if you don't have pipe cleaners. But if you picked up the art supply bags from this summer that I put together for you, there were pipe cleaners in those bags. So I'm hoping that most of you do have these pipe cleaners. And I also put straws in your bags. So you should have some pipe cleaners and some straws. I didn't put beads in there, so you're going to have to be creative and resourceful and find something with a hole in it. But I'll show you a few workarounds too. All right, let's get started. All right, to start for this project, you need 4 pipe cleaners. It doesn't matter what colors they are, but you just need 4 of them. All right? And you need to get all the ends together. They can be a little pokey, so you want to line up all the ends right there. And then we are going to get a bead, and we're going to put this bead, we're going to push all these through this bead. See that? See what I did? Now, this bead has a pretty big hole, so I'm going to try that and see if I can do it with one of these little craft beads. And I wonder if I can do it because this hole is a little smaller. Oh yeah, I did it. All right, so I'm going to do it with a craft bead. I'm going to use this because it's a little bit easier. But you can use any kind of bead as long as it has a hole that's pretty big, okay? And I realized if you don't have a bead, I was thinking that you could just put a little piece of tape around. You can just put a little piece of tape around like that to hold them together, okay? But a bead works best. But if you don't have a bead, you got to do what you can. All right, so now we have 4. And just to give you an idea, this is going to be the hair on top of the head, okay? So that's going to be, the bead is the head, and that's going to be the hair. So now we need to separate the body and the arms. So I'm going to pull out 2 long arms, and then I'm going to put 2 together to have a body, okay? Let me flip that around so you can see it. So these 2 are the body, and these 2 are the arms of our little person. And that's the head, and this is the hair, okay? So now we need our straws. So I'm going to cut this straw into thirds. So I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces. I cut 1 straw into thirds. And I'm going to take these 2 ends, and I'm going to put 1 straw on over both. And that's going to be the body. See how I did that? So I put a straw over 2 pipe cleaners, and it's long, and it's going to be the body. And now I have 2 legs and 2 arms, okay? Now I'm going to take these straws and I'm going to cut them in half, okay? I want them to be smaller than the body, okay? And so for the leg, I'm going to put one on. Actually, anywhere your body bends, I'm going to put a bead. So your body bends right there at the hip, and I'm going to put a straw right there. And then I know that my leg bends at the knee, so I'm going to put another bead, and that'll be where the knee is. And then I'm going to put another straw on there, okay? And our foot also bends at the ankle, so I'm going to put one more bead. So I put beads on places where I know where my leg bends. And now I don't want this pokey part, so I'm going to bend it over and stick it back in. So that's one of my first feet right there, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on this side. All right, see this? So that's the knee right there, and this is the foot, okay? So if you forget where you should be putting the beads, just look at your body, okay? Observe where your body bends, and that's where you want to put the beads, okay? So now let's do the arms. I'm going to need another straw, and again, I'm going to cut it into thirds. When I cut something into thirds, it means I cut it into 3 pieces, and I'm going to cut those in half. Now you can cut them whatever length you want, but you need to cut them small so that you can bend your arms. So now think about where your arms bend. I know it bends at the shoulder, so I'm going to put a bead there. And then I know my arm bends at the elbow, so I'm going to put another bead right there at my elbow. And then I'm going to put a straw there. And I also know that my arm bends at the wrist. So I'm going to put one more bead on, okay? So as you can see, this is the shoulder, this is the elbow, and that's the arm. And now I'm left with all this, okay? So I might need to cut that off, but right now I'm going to flip it over. You can actually push this in pretty far. As long as you keep pushing it through the beads, you can push it all the way in. It's kind of a big hand, isn't it? But that'll work. See, it's waving at you. Hi. Okay, now we need to do this side. So again, we're going to put a bead anywhere that our arm moves. So that's the shoulder. All right. As you can see, I have a little person here that has a body, and it has 2 legs, and that's the knee right there, and that's the foot. There's another knee, and then this is the arm. That's the elbow right there where you move your arm. That's the wrist, and there we go. We have our little guy. And then I think I might take a marker and put some eyes on him or her. All right. I took a Sharpie and I put a little face on it. These little pipe cleaner people are really fun to make. And if you don't have beads, you can still make them with straws. But the straws help you make little areas where they can bend, okay? If we just use one long straw here, we wouldn't be able to bend the arm. So I really want you to look at your own body, look at where your arms bend, and look at where your legs bend, and try to recreate it. These are really fun. All right, and of course, if you don't want to make a pipe cleaner person, there's a lot of other options you can do. But I want you to focus on making bendable joints. And so I'm going to show you another design. If you don't want to make a pipe cleaner person, you can still explore these materials in all kinds of fun ways, and you can make all kinds of fun designs that move. So I'm going to show you how to make a cool design with just 2. And to keep them together, you just twist them together. There's not a correct way to do it, but I just want them to stay together. So I made kind of like a cross or an X, all right? And then I'm going to need to cut my straw. I'm going to try to cut my straw in half this time, and then I'm going to cut each of those ones in half. So now I'm going to use some beads. So I'm going to try to make a symmetrical design. I have pink, pink, purple, purple. So I'm going to put a blue bead on this side, and I'm going to put a yellow straw because that's the only color straw I have. And then I'm going to put an orange bead, okay? And now with this end right here, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to insert that pokey part right back in to the bead so it doesn't poke me, all right? So I have one little arm right there. Okay, now I'm going to try to do the same thing on the other side. Now, you can do whatever design you want, but I'm trying to make mine symmetrical. So blue, blue. Now I'm going to put the yellow straw on, and now I'm going to put an orange bead right here. And now again, I'm going to flip this pointy part and I'm going to push it back in there so it doesn't poke me. Okay, so I have two sides. Let's see. I'm going to keep going. And if you don't have a bunch of different color beads, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. All right, so look at that cool design right here. And it moves around. I can do all kinds of fun things with it. All right, makers, so here we have a pipe cleaner person, and here we just have a cool pipe cleaner design. So it doesn't matter what you make. What matters is that you explore the materials. So straws, pipe cleaners, beads. Go for it. Have fun. See what you can create. You can make animals. I've seen people make really cool spiders, all kinds of stuff. I really want you to explore movements, and this is a really fun way to do it. So have fun, be creative, explore all kinds of designs, and stay safe out there, and keep on making. Bye for now.